Well, good afternoon as we're sitting here at LTV on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday afternoon. It's New Year's Day for the Jewish community, and we're continuing here with the tradition of public access and the Hello Hello show that's been on the air since 1980. Of course, not to fail to mention the contribution by Fraser Dougherty, Francis Ann, and of course the likes of you out there to make it your business to enhance and fortify this concept called public access, and rightfully so. So we kind of examine it through the momentary feeling that is a part of something really solid in our approach to art, in our engagement with art and about art. And more often than not, we find ourselves pretty deep into the concept and the actual happening, just on the behalf of a very slight touch and go encounter that takes us deep into the sensation of creativity and, of course, um, that kind of feeling that actually it proves to you of why exactly it is that you're doing what you're doing and loving it and not feeling the burden or the pressure on the account of that. Public access usually helps an individual to realize the nature of the nature, especially if you're artistic by nature. Even though I think that we are all kind of artists, and since childhood, everything, even though we abandoned the natural approach to playfulness and arts, is still, it doesn't just dissipate into the thin air. It just there on storing itself for um, a future possibility of a potential engagement to come to life. But on the behalf of that desire to create and being affected by it, we find ourselves really, how should I say, um, uh, willing to uh, to take the extra step and to maybe enhance the rhythm through which the process itself calls for. So I don't know, and sometimes symbols and rituals and traditions and all that, they can come in handy and they're helpful, even though more often than not, it stands in our way to be able to relate to our identity in an accurate fashion and also quickly enough so we don't have to live a whole lifetime before we realize that something good is taking place and that we're on the right path and that we things are developing the way we expected and anticipated it to, and things and so much more of that. So in that kind of category, okay, I just, yeah, okay, in that kind of category, the exception to the rule comes to life, and then you find that actually things are being done for you because some force out there realizes that you put the effort and you put the time, and maybe you need help, and maybe it's not a good idea, it's not a bad idea to give you help. You know, sometimes we notice someone in our community or people in our community that we kind of know but we never talk to. Maybe we say hi, but we never wonder about each other's psyche and demeanor. It's more like, okay. And then something little tiny thing happens, something happens to you or happen that period, and that makes you aware of that individual. And then it's I don't want to be as cliche as saying that it's refreshing or enlightening. It's just like, yes, of course, that's someone that resides in that person that I don't know much about, and that maybe I form. And here's actually my potential guest is coming. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's just that you can sit. It's good, very good. Let's say, and you can turn the mic to you. Let's see. Okay, so maybe you can move to the, yes, a little more, a little more, a
More, a
little.
little more.
Perfect. And it's never too close with the mic. Okay, so you can
Okay.
bring it. I forgot your last name. I'm sorry.
Lopez.
Okay, so Juliana
Anna
Lopez.
Lopez,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. That's very nice of you to show up like this. I really admire that. So, I was just talking about well, this is a talk show that's been on the air since 1980. The founder of LTV, Fraser Dougherty, did that until 1998, and then since 98 until now, I'm doing it. So it used to be like a morning show by tradition, and so yeah. So I wanted to mention that Juliana will be a part of the next group art show, which will be very soon here at LTV. And so I'm just getting to know you. You joined the LTV force of those who are willing to contribute metaphorically, artistically,
Mm-hmm.
and creatively, and all this. So I'm sure you're in this category. That's why you're here with us. So why don't you say a few words about Juliana? Just
I mean, sure. Well, I grew up in East Hampton, and I've always been an artistic child, um, an oddball. Liked writing and just kind of in my own little world. And eventually, I moved away, and I've traveled quite a ton. Been literally all over the world, and then eventually I had to come back and grow up and pay bills and all
yes,
that. And it's kind of funny. I kind of call myself, you know how like Superman, Superman.
yeah,
So you know how Superman's really Superman, but then he's also Clark Kent.
yeah.
So he's got like two things going on.
Mm-hmm.
So my Superman is my artistic side, but the
Uh-huh.
Clark Kent side's my accounting side.
Yeah, and you know what? And it shows. I didn't need to look too deep into what you're doing to realize that you have the steady hand and you have the desire behind it. It doesn't take much for me, at least personally, to realize that that's the case. But go ahead.
Yeah, so basically for a while after I got all my traveling, most of my traveling done, I still want to do more cuz the world really inspires me a lot. Um but I had to, like I said, come back and pay bills and what have you, and I did that for a while. I mean, I'm still doing it. That's what part of what I'm doing at LTV is doing accounting work. And but, was part of my soul was missing, right? Like the center of who I really am, making artwork. And during COVID, I was able to revisit that again, that part of me that I hadn't visited since I was a teenager. And I just decided I need to let that out more, and it needs to take more of a center role in my life. And I just did it. And
Yeah,
I started doing a lot of watercolor, and I used to not be a watercolor person. I used to be more of
like acrylic and.
acrylic and oil.
Hmm.
And the subject matter is really, you know, witchy, outer space, anything that really kind of makes my mind wander. And I've also always been kind of somebody that really was fascinated by outer space,
Hmm.
and also the whole like occult and witchcraft stuff. And then
Yeah.
I ended up during my break during COVID, I just came up with this character called Space Witch.
Hmm.
And then that just started this whole thing with watercolor and the acrylic and the Space Witch character, and then it just kind of turned into this own thing.
And so I assume that obviously it doesn't matter what subject matter you choose. The act of creation, the act of painting, the act of composition, the act of that moment of truth that you need yourself 100% available and present in order to be able to paint. So much so that you would like what you're doing, that you wouldn't
Yeah.
sell yourself short or you wouldn't settle for anything less than what you want. That's evident in your paintings. So do you can you separate the two things sometimes? Because you know that sometimes subject matter, I got rid of that necessity to come up with a subject matter as a
Mm-hmm.
condition to paint, because people feel lost if they don't know what they're about to do.
Yeah.
If you were an expressionist, you should be able to start painting immediately because that's what it's all about, really, if you think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have the privilege to come up with something solid so you can think about before you paint or while you're doing it, then good. Usually that's not the case. We don't have it. We're not. But so, is there a way where you can start seeing kind of the two ends of it, kind of independently walking alongside each other?
I mean, I kind of also the I feel like I do that, the abstract. I start with the abstract to be able to get to the subject matter. If you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like I'll just start thinking in like color. Oh, well, all these, it's just like I'll have like this image in my head or like this feeling. It's like I'm feeling this way. What colors, what am I feeling like today? And I'll just go. Like I don't even really have like I just have a feeling and I just run with it, and whatever comes out color wise on the canvas is where eventually I end up coming to this, whatever subject matter. It doesn't even have to be a subject matter. It could just
Yes.
be whatever color or whatever I'm feeling at the moment. So it's actually a really good question. I've never really thought about it, like
Yeah.
I don't, it's not like I like the way I start is just basically a really strong feeling or I'm feeling something really strongly and then I
Yeah.
just go with it.
Yeah, and obviously it shows that technically you have what it takes to bring it to life, because again, we really need to be able uh, to execute our feeling, plan, inspirations, spiritual, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is.
We
Yeah.
need the technique. We need the technique to be available constantly. Because I failed so many times. What Not that I failed. I mean, failed in little details here and there. But when you're in the studio and you feel that, it feels a little greater than it really is. Feels like, okay, so now what do I do? Do I pause? Do I take time to think? Do I start deciphering it? What do I do? But quickly enough, if you have the right attitude, this will be just another occurrence. This is like a second here, second there, and and you kind of cross, like jumping from one to another, and it doesn't affect your journey. You're like motion forward. You're actually brushes, paint, surfacing all this.
Yeah.
So I trained myself for the longest time to pay attention to the act of painting, 75%. And that 25% that comes due to that only later we have the time to examine,
Yeah.
is incredible. It's huge compared to the 25% that it gives. It gives the kind of the weird 100%,
Mm-hmm.
if you know what I'm talking about. So I think it's evident in your work um, that you're there in terms of, okay, I I can relate to what's going on in my head because technically I can execute it. I can bring it from here to here quickly,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't lose anything in the way because it's just a quick transaction.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
it's like I honestly I just love it. There comes a point where you almost feel like possessed. That your body is just leading you. It's not so much your brain. It's what you were saying, like the 25% I think is like the examining and like looking at it later or during or towards the end, but it's just that 75% where you're just going and you're kind of just in the zone or just somewhere. You're just somewhere else. Like you're physically there, but you're somewhere else. And then it's just you're like on, I don't know. It's just you're just riding some kind of wave or some invisible wave that's leading you. And you're not, yeah, there's like no thought. It's just pure action. It's like the
Yeah.
best. That's how for me that's like when I'm put my brushes down and I'm like this is it. Like this is I'm right. This is where it is, where it needs to be. This is exactly what I was feeling at the moment or whatever. It's just that's how you're on the right path, I guess, for me. Cuz there have been other times where like, like you get really in your head, well, I'm going to do this, and it's just not the same,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So, do you have a relationship with other artists that are kind of, is there like interest in what other people do? And I mean, this kind of an interaction exists in your life as an artist?
Honestly, I mean, I'm friends with other artists, but I'm pretty much a lone wolf. I'm looking to expand that more though, because I feel like when I'm around other artists, it actually, like you're not like this one man island, like you do need outside inspiration, and you
Mhm.
need people to challenge you too. And
Yeah. So do you check other people's art, like exhibitions and this and that? Do you like what you see? What are your reservations about? And we live in the east end of Long Island.
yeah,
That's
I mean, if I may be honest, well, growing up, so I grew up out here, like I said, and I would go a lot to different galleries, and I'd want to see, and I'd ask, and like, oh, what do I need to do to show here? And it'd be like, oh, you're a young kid, like, just show us your portfolio. I'd go and try to be like, yeah,
yeah.
ex- we don't have a need for that right now. So being young and kind of unsure of yourself, I'm like, all right, maybe I should just this is something private for me that I'm not ready
Yeah.
to really go out in the world and show yet. And then a lot of what I see out here, and I don't want to be unfair to all like the local artists, but it was mostly just landscapes and still lives, and I'm like, well, I don't do that. I don't, like, and I'm not gonna change whatever my process was for
But
that.
some of your pieces have a landscape quality into it. That's for sure, because obviously you have all this background that supports
Yeah.
a composition.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know whether it's intuitive, whether it's intentional. It doesn't matter. I don't
Yeah.
care how
Yeah.
you got there. You
Yeah.
got there. That's why I'm annoyed when people tell me, "Well, how did I what? What do you want from me?"
Yeah.
It's like, and even if I tell you, how is it going to help you?
Right, like it just is.
It's again, but then I cannot say that. I don't want to be rude. I don't want people not to like me too quickly for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of politically correct. If people come and ask, how long did it take you to paint this painting? So I said, okay, let's do, I think, 5, 11, 17, 22. And I go like this on and on, 91 hours. So, I make it kind of playful, of course, and all this.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wonder how, so when you make your painting,
Mm-hmm.
you already make two statements, one of the background, one of the foreground kind of thing. And it's up to you as an observer to decipher it. So at least there's something to decipher here.
Yeah.
There's a composition, there's a relationship. If you want to look for the success or failure of others, it's easy. And if you want to look in a positive way, it's very easy. Negative way, it's very easy. So might as well just choose the good stuff. Let's be friendly to the image.
Yeah.
Let's be more tolerant, more, kind of attention span. Let's pay attention to attention span. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I go to art shows and I see and I feel and I said, okay, this is I like everything, but I like this. Who's the artist? I go, and if it's an old lady or something, I have the most serious conversation with her. Like she wouldn't even know where I landed from. And so I'm trying to tell her, listen, I'm going to overwhelm you with my goodness. And then she turns and she said, I know you. I know you're doing. I know. And she started telling me that she knows me. And suddenly I'm learning something about myself immediately. And I know I'm going to take it to the studio later anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's disproportional. You go and you end up with a young lady. And for me, I'm saying I'm just in the company of a great philosopher that I can discuss things with him forever. Yeah, I'm imagining that that's the way it is, even if it's far, far away from being that.
Yeah.
But all that to say is that I saw in your painting that you have the background and you have that which is closer to us. And that is already in my eyes a fair amount of success in that process of painting. I mean, can you relate to what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, I honestly, I just end up, like I said, like I just go. I don't even really have a plan as to what. I don't even worry about whether if it's successful or not. Like I don't even I made those paintings and I just
about the cosmic paintings.
Yeah, the
potentially you're going to
cosmic.
show. Tell me a little bit about it. I thought that showed a lot of capabilities.
Thank you.
So would you tell me more about that?
Well,
I'm sorry we cannot show the images, but
no, it's okay. Well, I mean, what do you want to know? Like,
well, I mean, it's like was the scheme of colors or the totality of it? You saw it ahead of time. You kind of had an idea, or is it just you touch and go, and then you realize what's happening, and you just continuing doing that.
I literally I just wanted to I this is going to sound so silly, but I just wanted to play with color. And I didn't want to, like, yeah, I had that character in my brain, but
Yeah,
I eventually got to that. It was more like I just want to play with color.
and it shows, by the way.
I just wanted to play combinations with color, and then how opaque and how light, and then just do a combination of whatever. I just didn't want it to be. I started off being like, I just want to play. I just want to play. I literally just wanted to play, and it eventually became something more, kind of like a universe expanding, and then planets coming together and all that. I and yeah, I and then eventually I'm like, all right, well, I kind of I just want to lay some lines down and see, like, there's these different blobs of light and color playing, and then I just want something a little bit more solid, and then I came up with the characters, or whatever figure. Like, I have a lot of female figures in the paintings, um and that's pretty much it. That's how it came about. It just playing, and then eventually I got a little bit more, okay, well, I just wanted, who is this? Who is this person?
Yes, yeah, that's good.
What's
So
this mystery?
maybe that's the stage where you say, now I'm going to start writing some poetry in
Yeah,
that pause
yeah,
of time, whatever it is, because I know I'm going back to the canvas anyway.
yeah.
So might as well to have that poem and to maybe feel that it's all kind of somewhat pathetic. I feel like that, like it's, thank God I'm alone here, and well, thank God that no one is around to observe me.
Right, right.
I'm just doing. Took me a long time to understand what it means to be alone in the studio. You know, I said, like, why am I feeling embarrassed? No one is here. Why am I feeling odd doing whatever it is? No one is here to, nothing here. I don't hear anyone here. I don't see anyone. So, took a while to realize that actually you can imagine anything you want, you can jump as much as you want, you can turn to whichever direction you want. There will be no interference. You see yourself in you. So that concept of you yourself in you was a must to achieve. The acknowledgement of that it exists. So so you say now, okay, who is she? Who is this image that keeps on showing up in my paintings? And then I'm sure I'm going to let you continue, but I'm sure that there's a whole story there that we find out in stages.
Yeah, and also the thing, now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of the line work's it's incomplete, and I want to keep it incomplete. Yeah. But these are just different women that just grew out of nothing, I guess. And then, like I said, like I've always been really interested in the occult. Not so much, like the practicing, is more the imagery, and like tarot cards and all that. And I've always really liked the artwork I've seen, and the symbolism behind some of the images I just really found interesting. And I never really thought that that would wind up in my work somehow, in my artistic things, but they found a way. And I think that's some of the inspiration from some of these women that are just developing out of space.
Yeah. So did you ever try to introduce writing into the equation of your creativity?
I actually have, funnily enough. I started, I didn't start, I actually finished it. I started this story about a family that lives in space, and that they have this one distant, well, not distant, a very close relative gets lost in space, and she somehow becomes this cosmic force on her journeys in deep space. And I haven't really, this is the first time I'm talking about it, actually, but it's just also, that's, you don't really, in the story, you know, it's kind of like a family finding one another and this whole atonement arc, and you get to meet all these other characters. But the Space Witch, you only kind of get a glimpse of her. You get a little bit of her and then the story's over. So again, it's like another thing that she's still developing in her own way. Um but she's definitely a centerpiece of this universe that I'm starting to build off of. So yeah.
So yeah, yeah, and also it. I mean, well, thank you for sharing, because
Yeah.
that was like kind of. I felt like even though I've done that, exactly what you're saying, I introduced myself to what you were saying in real time as if I was never heard of it. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm realizing what is it that, what kind of a friendship I can form. That means that it's not going to be a one-time encounter without asking the question, getting the answer. I want to make a friendship with the answer so I can adapt to it, and utilize it. And in more ways than one, there's always a, a silent dialogue with the potential opposition out there. you know, it's just taking it for granted that the world, first of all, is aggressive by nature, and people are not so accommodating, and people also very successful in hiding the way they feel about you. That's really the worst part of it.
Yeah.
That's why a lot, when we find out that someone said something or this, that, or did something, you say, where did that come from? I thought this person loves me or appreciates me or respects me, or I thought we were friends, things like that.
Yeah.
But when you become more serious as an artist, you leave less room for these kind of realizations. They're not needed even. You're more like, listen, I'm building the thickness of the walls of my studio that will just deter you automatically from messing with me, kind of thing. When I say messing, I mean just like I'd like people to come and see my art, not say good, bad, or anything, but that they will know one thing for sure, is that they better think before they say something.
Yeah.
Kind of for their own sake, for their own artistic psyche.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would do.
Yeah.
But I mean, is it wrong to sometimes go to an artist? I mean, I've done it in the past. To say, listen, maybe to say something that he or she will
not like,
and maybe interpret wrongly, no matter what. Let's just say if you come to an artist and say, your work is absolutely exquisite as a background for a painting. So I'm trying to tell the person, listen, I'm doing you a favor that I needed when I was in your stage.
Yeah.
From someone to come and tell me, listen, let me save you a lot of hassle, a lot of time. And it helps if it's someone that you look up to, that you know, kind of thing, whatever. Course. And then nobody. So I had to go through, smearing myself in the mud before I even, got the chance to clean myself and to think that there's another option. So, and then I was never really successful because I read people's expressions. So I immediately see that this person is telling me, like, where did you come from? I don't need you now. This is not funny and leave me alone.
Yeah.
Of course, but he or she won't say that.
Yeah.
But I can assure you that when they have time, because when I said that, I immediately started explaining to him what I mean. I needed only a moment before I know that I have to abandon it and indirectly say, I'm sorry and I'll see you later or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Which exactly. But I know later on, he or she will sit and say, he's right.
Yeah. It just it takes people a while. Yeah, yeah. It takes people a while.
Thank you. I mean, like, okay, I can. Once I was worried about conditioning the canvas, like put whatever, this material and that material, all these gesso things. It was a big deal for a while.
Yeah.
And there's no trace of it in my life anymore. It's just like, what the heck? It's a canvas.
Like, have fun and have fun on it. Like, don't take it so serious.
Yeah. But for the sake of having a little more time actually painting. That's what I mean. Then I need the time.
Yeah.
If I think about that, I have less time doing that.
Yeah.
That's simple mathematics. So do you value your time? I mean, how often do you work in your studio? Like every day, somewhat?
If we're gonna be honest, the last couple weeks I have not been as committed because of personal stuff, but usually I will at least twice a week I'll be working in my studio. And it's like I said, it comes in waves. Like over the winter I spent a good 5 months every day going, and on the weekends too. And then, yeah, like I said, and then also too, it's not just life getting in the way, but sometimes I just don't feel it, and I don't want to make myself go
Yeah.
when I'm really not feeling it.
So, are you open to take 3 minutes and write a poem each? You want to do that?
I'm open for
Yeah.
that.
Do you have a phone with you?
I don't have a phone with me, but I have a pencil. Do you have paper?
Thank you for reminding me. I forgot how this looks like, even what you're holding.
Thank you.
And you know what? Okay, I have to do the same thing you do. I have to use the pen now. It's not fair.
Do you want to use my pencil first?
No. I'll So usually I put music, but someone took away the wire here. That upsets me. Because usually I put, that's not working, no? Sometimes they're hiding it somewhere. I don't see it. It's in connection to an iPhone. But anyway, you know what? We're good. I'm already writing.
All right, so it's whatever I want.
Yeah, just a poem, an 8-liner or something.
Okay. I'm done.
Yeah. Ay. Go for it.
I gotta read it?
Oh, shit.
Oh, let me read it. Okay.
Yeah, well, because you can you read my handwriting? I don't think so.
Yeah. You're gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Space in case of emergency. Time a case missing serendipity. Do you know whose line it was? Doesn't matter anyway. I'm just glad to be sitting on a mystery.
Actually, there's some issues that are very alike to uh, bring blast, bring blast soar to the touch of slow serving gesture. All kind and slow burning trail as is the slowing grazing space. I groove stricken of the blur to observe, find the love left behind, one last attempt to bring the world closer to a breathing chest. So now, in the spirits of that, I'm gonna write in your spirit. You'll write in my spirit. Okay?
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna use this as the space to write. Even the shape will affect the writing, no?
Wait, so I'm gonna. Okay, hold on. So how am I gonna do this? So I'm gonna be you.
Do you remember the poem that I just read?
Yes, some things.
That's what, something is good.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember what you did. Some things. So write in the spirits of what you just heard,
Okay.
or at least as close as you can.
Give me the, cause I want. There's one thing I wanna.
And give me yours for a second. Okay, good. Okay. Take your time.
Okay.
Now I go first?
You go first.
Okay. Open up gradually. You notice your reflection. It's a growing density as you allow company to join the party. I told you not to listen to me. And you really listen to me, not to listen.
That's great. That's good. All right.
Well, that's actually a t-shirt
That's
right
so good. That's really good. Keep that piece of paper.
Wait, we have room for another poem here on the edges.
Okay. Last trace of love's dust particles, inhale deeply, clinging to an attempt. Connection not so easy, feeling unkempt. a beautiful chaos arising in a chest with a heart beating without regret.
That's very good.
Okay.
And that's also relating. Obviously, you change your style. Did you notice that? Okay, how about the third poem and the last one will be joining both of them together, kind of the feeling.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to have to.
We're gonna origami the
Already,
paper.
we're having like a 1/4 of a poetry book. Yeah, yeah, that's good actually. Very good. Yeah,
Wait,
and
but can I read?
actually,
Can I read the? Can I read the funny one?
Oh yeah,
again?
this is the one. So wait, just to mention, actually, you can read that we're sitting here on Thursday afternoon, March. I mean March. Yes, of course, October 3rd. Yes, to see what happened. October 30th, 2024. Here with the Hello Hello Show and Juliana Gomez. Yeah,
Lopez.
The Lopez. See, I'm sorry.
I told you not to listen, and you didn't listen.
I didn't listen, not to listen, but. Lopez Juliana is here with us, and she's a part of the workforce here at the LTV, and we're very happy to have her. Great demeanor, great energy. She's also going to be a part of the upcoming group art show as we're having it here for the last 27 years. So thank you, and we'll write another poem now as we speak. Okay. Wait, just give me your paper. Where's the other poem? Just for a second. Yes, for a quick glance in.
Oh wait, flip it.
Oh. Okay, well, the stage is yours, no?
Okay. You said not to listen, but I did listen, then lied. Innocence is not a given, but I'll reply. Were you my teacher or a lover, it wouldn't matter. I do what I want, though I'm not really that clever, but that's also a lie.
It's also good. Wow, just the willingness to get to a point where we, can allow the words to gather its own meaning, kind of thing. So here I because I wrote already two, it's just standing in my way to write a good one. That's always the case. So I wrote up and down the slope of hoping, up and down of the slope of hoping to wish. It's not as easy as it seems. And it's not as easy as the neon sign flashing, a light of carrying its own awareness, of showing the way to the needy, of which it highlights. Therefore, you can approach for a brief, reassuring glance of worthwhileness. I'm starving. So
Wow.
So yeah, I didn't write on a piece of paper for the longest time, So it's always on phone and all this. So we proved. Look in an encounter of 10 minutes how much we proved that it's, forget about possible, just doable.
Yeah.
And just imagine if we were to do this maybe every day. So we will have 180 poems in 1 month, you and I together. 180 poems.
That's a lot.
3 poems in a short encounter.
Yeah.
A month is 90 poems.
And then 3 times 2, 6.
Yeah, that's what I mean. 6.
Yeah.
So that's 90, 180.
Yeah.
But that's 180 in case we don't write anything else in addition to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can have what's the word? How do you? Now I just escaping me whatever. I forgot the word anyway. And the first book can be an anthology already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a work of a lifetime kind of thing. So that's that. Well, I enjoyed it a lot. There is room for another. Do you want another one?
Do you want another one?
How about rhyming now?
Rhyming?
Yeah.
Have you ever done a haiku?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do a haiku. We'll do the rhyming.
Haiku 575.
I don't know if I can.
And it's should be about nature, about Mother Nature kind of thing. Usually the haiku.
Let's do the rhyming one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like advanced poets do the haiku.
It's 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables, 3 lines. You know what I mean?
So, give me an example.
Like, if I was to be, is 5.
Okay.
Then, flying breeze grows
hotter.
Harder. Okay, 7. There in the
ether. No, is that too many syllables?
So no.
Let's do the rhyming.
Because they're in the because I want to bring nature into it, like and they're in the almost like whole, whole and stem, you read it anyway. It's just another two syllables. So, and then you can free yourself from nature and you can go everywhere and all that.
Yeah.
But I'll do rhyming real quick.
All right, let's do the rhyming.
Okay, I don't know how well I did or not. It's just.
Yeah, I mean, that one was kind of challenging.
Yeah, because it's a lot of freestylers flying all over the air.
I don't. Yeah.
Shall I start? Or?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, so a yearning soul for the role, understand and now I cannot read my oh yes, okay, understand and the land, get to it just a bit, love of sight, grieving might, how could you, buying it new, soul unity, SOLE, soul unity, she's pretty, I meant greedy, so needy.
All right, all right.
Okay.
I like yours. I think it's better than mine.
Yeah. Make it sound as it's really, really, really good.
Oh, no pressure, right? On a red string, a fleeting thing, for a meaning into nothing, possibly something, shiny and thin. We have all been walking tall, slim, smell of cardamom and noisy mint, touch of wooden.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I don't think
I don't think anything is wrong.
It just smells good.
Yes, really good. That's good. So, yeah, we should take a picture of this, and start it like a.
We should start a little pile or a little
Yeah.
folder.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I can actually, but that's going to require you to come on the show more often than not.
All right.
There you go. Yeah, we can do this. And oh my God.
Wait, we gotta write the date. March
Not
March 30th, 2072.
No, October.
Here you go.
Oh, March 30th. Okay, where did you write it? Oh, here. That's another
Pick a
one.
corner, any corner.
Yes, yeah. Noticed. Okay, very good. Very good. That's awesome.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to do exactly what I'm doing with you for with my a really good friend of mine. She passed away about a year ago, and so that was a big loss. But then we published a poetry book from these encounters. I should show you the book so you can see it. But I can't begin to thank you and to thank you again.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no, this was it goes to show us how willingness when it's in place, it can only result, especially if we're speaking of artistic demeanor, then much more than we think when it comes to life, really. So, and it's not something that you would usually have available, that kind of alternative thoughts, and say, well,
Yeah.
we can actually do it.
Yeah.
So,
It's great. That was great.
Yeah,
And
that
I
was-
love writing. Like
Yeah.
I usually use my phone too in the
Yeah,
notes.
yeah,
I
I
have
know.
so many
yeah,
things in there.
yeah, and then also now you can take this to the studio in your head, and
Yeah.
I mean, no one can stop you from doing that, and you can even force yourself to come up with some uh, thereforeness. That you go and you're something got to be different now if I paint the painting.
Yeah.
Thinking about that,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. So I again I wanted to thank you, and looking forward to the show that you're gonna be a part of, and so that's Juliana Lopez, correct?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, and we're gonna be here tomorrow as much as we were here yesterday, and as much as we're here this afternoon, Thursday, October 30th, 2024, here with the Hello Hello Show. I want to extend my best wishes to the Jewish community for a Happy New Year, and just to our community, a steady and healthy demeanor, state of mind, tolerance, and compatibility with all the challenges that come our way. And we know you're out there supporting, and we appreciate that. And again, thank you to my guest, Juliana Lopez. God bless. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.